Welcome to Learning to Glow, a show about wellness, skin health, and self-development. I'm your host, Jess. I'm a mom, entrepreneur, and skincare expert. I'm so excited to share tips on how to achieve healthy skin and bring amazing guests in the field of health, fitness, aging gracefully, and personal growth. Let's explore all different ways we can take care of ourselves as women, both inside and out, to truly shine. So let's get glowing. Hello and welcome to Learning to Glow podcast. This is your host, Jess, and today we have Dara, who is a detoxification specialist and the founder of the Detox Cottage in San Diego. We dove straight into the detoxification process of the body and the mind and how we can aid our body in this process. I learned a lot in this episode. It was so interesting. She is amazing. I really enjoyed listening to how the things that we can do to aid in this process, what we're actually detoxing from. And she talked about a few things that really surprised me that I hadn't heard anyone talk about before. I will leave all of her information in the show notes. I highly recommend you follow her on Instagram. She has a great Instagram page. You can see people at her detoxification cottage, which is just incredible. You can see the ice baths, which is so fun to watch. It's less fun to get, but we talk about that in the episode and why I am now currently doing regular ice baths, and it's because of her. And let me know if you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you thought. If you have any questions, you can send me a message on Instagram. I'm at Simply Just Skincare, and enjoy this episode. Hello, everyone. Today we have Dara, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ever since I started this podcast, I knew that I would be asking you to be a guest because you have so much to talk about that is going to be so interesting for my listeners, and I'm obsessed with what you do. So why don't you start there and tell us a little bit about yourself and what your background is, and we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so my name is Dara, and I am a detoxification specialist. So what that means is basically I help people come back to themselves, help people heal holistically and naturally. And I run a detoxification retreat center in Vista called the Detox Cottage, and we guide people through a series of self-care detox modalities, and I also help coach people and educate people on healing their body through detoxification as well. So all things holistic health.
All my favorite things. So welcome. Yeah. Thank you. And I like to kind of start by asking what led you to this work.
Yeah. So it's funny. My dad showed me this documentary called Forks Over Knives probably 12 or 13 years ago at this point. And it was just the first documentary I've seen, or really anything I've ever heard, that talks about healing the body naturally. And there was so much science in there on people stopping and preventing and even reversing their disease through diet and lifestyle changes. And just light bulbs went off for me. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is it. This makes so much sense. And I remember at that time in my life thinking, we all just grow old to become very diseased, and it's not really up to us, it's up to chance. And it's funny, I remember thinking that way. I just remember thinking we all are going to end up taking a bunch of medicine or pills, and we're going to be super overweight, and it's just kind of the cards were dealt. Even though I was raised very healthy, my mom was giving us fresh carrot juices and smoothies, and the only cereal we got were like grape nuts with, soy milk and honey. And so she was like really doing her best. We didn't get lots of candy and stuff, but even by the time I was coming into adulthood, I was still in that frame of thinking that we don't really have that empowerment over our health. And so really that documentary just really lit something in me that put me on a journey of obsessively studying how to heal the human body. And I just knew that that was my purpose and that I wanted to build a place where people could go and do that and get away. And yeah, so then I just did a lot of self-study. I had a lot of mentors over the years, and I enrolled in a PhD program for holistic health and healing. And I've done countless little courses and trainings and certifications and all sorts of things. I'm excited to see where it all goes. But that's kind of how I got started. And I'm really grateful that I was so young to have started learning about holistic health.
Yeah, I know. Starting young helps because it sounds like you were sort of healthy-ish, it wasn't like you found this work because you were really ill I find
Right.
a lot of people find a healthier way of living after they have nowhere else to go or turn to, or,
Right.
Western medicine really hasn't helped them. So they kind of turn to alternatives, but it's kind of nice that you never got to that point. It just resonated with you.
Yeah.
And that was like your
Yeah, I
path.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It wasn't, because I had to. It just really sparked something in me. So if you looked at me back then, you would say, oh my gosh, she's like the perfect bill of health. I was super in shape. I was an athlete. However, when I changed my diet, which I did overnight, just boom, everything's out. I'm only eating fruits and veggies and healthy food. And back then it was a lot easier because there wasn't so many like fake healthy foods in the grocery store. It was just like, okay, fruits and veggies, and that's kind of it, or the whole foods, it's kind of it. So by changing my diet, I realized, oh, I actually was pretty sick, not with a chronic disease that's very obvious, but wow, I was not sleeping, I wasn't digesting, I was very constipated all the time. I was depressed and angry and moody and so tired. Just my adrenals were just shut down. And I have so many breathing problems and sinus problems. And I don't think I was just so used to them. I didn't even know. Right. And no one was looking at me saying, oh, there's something wrong with you. It's just like we get so used to it, to feeling so sick. We don't even realize we're sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more normal to feel all those symptoms than to
Yeah.
feel amazing and energetic. And, because we kind of think like, well, this is just how you feel.
This
You
is how you
kind of just deal
feel.
with
And
it.
I remember when I started feeling great, I remember the first time I had a good night's sleep and I woke up feeling refreshed. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody who actually feels good. Like, I just don't think there's very many people out there who truly feel good and feel healthy, which
Mm,
is sad.
so
Yeah.
sad. I know. And we're not, that's not talked about. I feel like, as far as you could actually feel this amount of energy, and like you can actually sleep. I think that, and sleep is such a big one. It If you
Yeah.
don't have that, you're just not in a good place. And so many people are not getting good sleep. So
Yeah.
that, the side effects from that are just endless in a negative
Yeah.
way. So you talked about healing the body, and you really use detoxification of the body to do
Yeah.
that. And I'd love to hear, this is it's such a talked about word. It's a very big buzzword, right? Especially right now, people
Mhm.
want to do this for detox. And I'd love, with all of your experience, to tell us, what does it even mean? What does detoxification in the body mean?
Yeah. So detoxification, and this is why I call it regenerative detoxification or cellular detoxification, because what we're doing is we're not just going on a quick juice cleanse and, calling it a detox. we are actually detoxing the body on a cellular level. We are completely stripping it down and clearing everything that is not needed or everything toxic out of the body, and then rebuilding and regenerating on a DNA level. And at the same time, we are also doing that on a subconscious, mental, emotional level as well. Right, because you need to do both. If you only focus on the physical body, the and have an unhealthy mind, eventually your body is going to mimic your mind. And that's kind of how, the placebo effect works. If you have this very negative, unhealthy mind, eventually your body's going to start to shut down as well, and vice versa. So that's why we have to do both, right? You can't just do mental, emotional, and spiritual healing. You have to cleanse the body and keep this vessel healthy. So it is a process. It's very simple, which I love. One of my mantras is like, health is so simple, healing is so simple. That doesn't mean that it's easy to do, right? It's a lot of us, it takes a lot of discipline to change who we are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. We have to change that, right? And most of us, we're so stuck. So it's not easy, but at least it's simple. We can all understand it because it's in our DNA. It's our instincts, it's like our birthright to be this way, live this way, and feel what it is to be truly healthy. And so I think a lot of times it could take people months, years to truly heal their body if they are on a very guided and specific protocol. Doing a juice cleanse or just doing some herbs or whatever, like that's all, it's great, but truly detoxing the body is something you really have to focus on. It's a lot longer of a protocol than just doing a quick juice cleanse. You have to open up your detox pathways, right? Heal the organs that detoxify, and you have to just completely change your lifestyle, basically.
I like how
So
you talked about the mental part of it when people are talking about detoxification. When I started working with a nutritionist, and one of the first things we started talking about was, okay, like the mental part of it. Like, what are you going to do for your stress management? I was like, okay, when are we going to talk about the food? That was first. And I'm like, I loved
mhm.
that because that is so important to healing your body and working on your overall health. It's not just, like you said, one thing,
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
important that is, like you said, with connecting both, because it'll rub off on one another if one is out of sync.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Even if the body is very unhealthy and you're doing all this mental work, those negative thoughts are just going to keep coming back because it's mimicking the body, and it's like back and forth. And I often tell people that it is the non-physical healing is the most important part, because once you start practicing self-love and appreciating yourself and healing from these traumas and letting go of this negative self-talk, then doing all the physical work becomes a lot easier because you want to eat healthier. It feels better to do it, and you're not in this state of like self-sabotage and trauma response, and just feeling frozen and scared to move forward into unknown territory. It shouldn't be about willpower healing. We should want to do it. So I do think that it's very important, and it might be the most important thing, is to really incorporate that non-physical healing.
And willpower will only take you so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So it's, speaking of the body and like the physical body, as far as detoxification goes, what are some of the things that we want to detox from? Like, what are some things that could be building up in us that are toxic or toxins that we want to incorporate this detoxification into our lives?
You can kind of break it all down into chemistry. So we have acids and we have bases, and I call them alkaline, which it's kind of the same thing, alkaline and base. So we have acid and alkaline, and most of the body is actually supposed to be at a 7.34 to 7.4 alkaline pH. So we're supposed to be slightly alkaline, of course, except for our skin, for our stomach acid, for other organs that need a bit more of an acidic pH to protect against pathogens, really. So most of the foods people are consuming are highly acidic, and most of the stress and feelings, really anything that is less than a neutral state, has an acidic reaction on the body. So fear and anger and apathy and stress and, all of those things have actually a chemical reaction that is acidic forming in the body. And you have basically all processed foods, of course. It's going to be all the fun stuff. All your caffeine, your alcohol, your processed foods, pretty much all grains and legumes, all animal products, and even all cooked foods, all oils, and salt. So, it doesn't mean that you have to take all these things out completely, but I keep it as an 80-20. You can have 20% of your diet coming from acid forming foods, and if 80% is alkaline, then you're going to stay in a healthy state. But the problem is most people are eating highly processed, highly acid forming foods, sodas and caffeine all day, and their chips and the fast food, and it's so acidic that the body is just overburdened with acidity. And then of course you have all the chemicals and the toxins and the heavy metals and those things that accumulate. But I think focusing on the alkaline acidity balance is huge, because once you start moving into the alkaline state, then you're opening up the detox pathways. And there's specific ways you can detox heavy metals and detox parasites and detox these things. I think overall, the biggest issue is really people being overly acidic. And what acids do in the body is they break things down, they break tissues down. And so what the body does to offset the acids from basically deteriorating your body produces lots of mucus and fat and plaque. So that's just white and pussy and fatty and greasy, like anything like that, mucousy, the body uses to protect all of the organs. And it's a very healthy thing. But we all know what happens when we have too much plaque in the arteries, or it becomes a problem. And if we have too much mucus, it becomes a problem. If we have too much, really just any of that fluid, pus, right? You start having tumors in the body and things go wrong. When we have too much acid in the body releases its own alkaline minerals from things like bone and muscle tissue to neutralize the acids and then flush them out. So this is why a lot of people have osteoporosis and deterioration of connective tissue, is because they are too acidic, and the body is just doing whatever it can to stop this acid from causing problems. And another thing that happens is it releases its water stores. So the cells, our cells are supposed to be healthy, plump grapes, if you will, and they will release the water that they have because the priority is to balance the pH of the body. The body's priority is to stay in homeostasis. So staying in its perfect temperature, it can't be too hot, it can't be too cold. It has to have the right pH balance. It has to have all of these things in balance, and that is the first priority of the body. So That's why it'll just endlessly release these minerals and water to flush these acids out, even if that's going to leave us severely dehydrated on a cellular level, severely depleted, and completely obstructed and constipated with mucus, plaque, and fat. It's just like this is the first priority. So, really, the disease is the body trying to stay in balance. I think it's really important to focus on the chemistry of the body. I'd say that's a huge one.
That's so interesting that the disease is the body's response really to protecting the body and
Right.
yeah, that is so interesting.
Right. You can kind of, yeah, you can look at it that way. And then you have that going on, and then you add not getting hardly any nutrition in the body, right? So you're eating all of this toxic acid forming food, and you're feeling all these acidic emotions, and you're stressed, and you're not getting any nutrition. So now you're just totally starving yourself and then depleting yourself even more, even if you are growing bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Oh my
And I'd
goodness.
say that really acidity and obstruction in the body, and then like lack of nutrition is really like the two biggest causes of disease. And you can kind of break most diseases down into one of the two.
So
Yeah.
talking about one way to help detoxify the body, like you were saying, with the food and the nutrition that we're obviously a lot of us are depleted of, there's also physical things that we can do. And I want to talk about now your retreat center, your beautiful
Yeah.
oasis, the Detox
Thank
Cottage,
you.
because these are some things that we can do also to aid in that process of detoxification.
Yeah.
And I want you to kind of explain to us what the Detox Cottage is, what it entails. And then I'd love to kind of talk about each step of the way more in detail. And I have actually
Yeah.
been to your Detox Cottage 2 times.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to talk about this because it's amazing and I cannot wait to share this part. So
Yay, thank you. Yeah, so the Detox Cottage, basically everything we offer as yoga, meditation, breath work, ice baths, infrared saunas, a full body skin cleaning treatment, body work like Gua Sha, cupping and lymphatic drainage. And we also, in the last year and a half, added on the little cottage, the little tiny house people can stay and do an extended retreat, stay really as long as they want or have the means for, and can add on more things on top of those treatments, can add on a full detox protocol. So all the food and herbs and, education and coaching and anything that kind of I can provide to support them in their healing and detoxification journey is, something I can offer for them. Most people come just for the day, like you have been, and it can be a couple hours, it can be 5 hours, depending on what package you get. Or people can come and stay for a weekend, a week. I have someone here now for 2 weeks. She's doing a long juice cleanse with herbs, and yeah, it's a special place.
it is so special. And before we talk about some of the steps, I'm kind of talking about the kind of the day that I had. But
Yeah.
and I think I know the answer to this, but who is a candidate, for this? Because I'm sure there's I'm sure everyone is, but tell us who's your ideal candidate for a day with you.
Yes. Let's see. Everyone I get, anyone who comes here is just like the most amazing person. And every single person, I'm like, okay, we could totally be friends. Let's hang out. I just love my clients. So, gosh, I'm like, who am I attracting? I guess it's really people who are health conscious. I love working with people who are taking the steps. to help themselves, even if it doesn't have to be their whole life, of course, but people who are aware enough to have a day like this, come and do something good for themselves rather than maybe just going out and harming their body. But of course, anyone is welcome. I would love to have anybody here. But it is really nice to have people who are just have that awareness of health, even if it's just a little bit. Yeah, it makes it that much more fun, right? And I mean, when I'm working with people with my coaching clients, I will only take people who are ready to do the work, you know, because I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm not here to like sell you on anything. I'm just here when you're ready and you want to start doing the work, then I'm here, you know. So I think someone who's kind of in that mindset of like, I just want to do something good for myself and I'm ready.
Yeah, I think people who are sort of drawn to you, well, this is for me, it's like the ultimate self-care day.
Right.
And also I had been hearing about the first question I'm going to ask you about. I had been hearing about ice baths. So they're very hot right now. You can see them everywhere.
They are.
And I think the first time I came to see you was 2021. It's been a few years. So I was most excited to try it. I was the most scared too. I remember coming, I made my friend come with me and I was like, I'm sure we'll do the sauna first and then we'll do the bath because then we'll be warm. And you were like, no, we're doing the ice first. And I'm like, oh my God. So tell us, everybody has been hearing about it. Tell us some of the benefits, the physical benefits of an ice bath. Why do you like to use it at the Detox Cottage?
Yes. Yeah, I love that it's become such a fad. And I love that because it works. And I want everyone to experience it because I've seen it change people's lives just after one ice bath, right? So yeah, it's one of my favorites. And yeah, when I first started doing this in 2018, it was not such a big thing. So I had to convince people a little bit harder to do the ice bath. But now I get clients and they're like, oh yeah, I've done ice baths and we're good. I'm like, perfect. That's great. The physical benefits of the ice bath, I could go on and on and on for, but overall, it's great for inflammation, for pain. It speeds up recovery. It's why a lot of athletes do it. It's great for your immune system. It improves circulation, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit more. It enhances your mood and increases alertness and focus. It can burn calories. It can help build brown fat and reduce, yellow fat. So basically it helps you burn fat. And it's an increase in norepinephrine and dopamine, and it can actually increase those levels 2.5-fold, which just helps with energy and drive. And so it's way better than any cup of coffee or any stimulant. Just go in the ice bath and then you're good for the day because it's this calm sense of energy and focus. It's not a stressful energy. It's true dynamic energy, which I love. And so here does 3 minutes in the ice bath. And the reason for that is going back to the improved circulation. I love doing 3 minutes in the ice bath because it moves the lymphatic system one whole circulation. So a little background on the lymphatic system. I talk about it a lot because that is our detox pathway, right? All of the mucus, plaque, fat, chemicals, toxins, heavy metals, cellular waste, viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungus, yeast, mold, whatever, all the toxins, all the crap that has to leave the body has to go through this system. And it's part of your circulatory system. It's pretty much identical to the blood vascular system. We all know what that looks like. We've got veins, vessels, capillaries, to put it in simple terms, all over the body, going to every single cell in the body. Well, the lymphatic system is pretty much the same, but the blood is what delivers nutrition and oxygen, and it feeds all the cells in the body. And of course, it's a red fluid. The lymphatic system is a clear fluid, and it's like the sewer system of the body. It's the waste system, and it's 3 times larger than the blood vascular system. So we are mostly liquid. There's actually new science showing that we're 98.9% water molecules, whereas before it was about 72%, some of the older science. So we are all water, and this lymphatic system is the largest water system ocean in the body. And it's very important to understand if you want to understand how the body works and how the body heals, right? Because like we talked about, pretty much all disease can be broken down into toxicity, which, is acidity and obstruction and all of that toxicity, and malnutrition. And so, yeah, it's huge to understand how the body detoxes. So your lymphatic system does not have a heart to keep it circulating and pumping like the blood. So it relies purely on our movement to stay circulating, to stay detoxing. So that's huge. That's why a sedentary life is one of the most disease-promoting lives you can live. And about 70% of the lymphatic system is in the skin and directly under it. So when you're in the ice bath, your skin gets really tight, it contracts, you get these goosebumps all over, and it's pumping the lymphatic system. And 3 minutes is enough to get the whole body circulated in one full round. So it's a really good full body detox, which is why the physical benefits of it are endless, right? Because it really just depends on each person and what toxins you have, what toxins you're moving and letting go of. And another amazing thing about the ice bath is it helps put you into your parasympathetic nervous system. So kind of going back to that like clear, focused energy. When you first get in, it stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, the stressful state, the state a lot of us are stuck in, trying to get out of. And what's cool about it, though, is it's a healthy stress. It's a healthy sympathetic response, just like exercise, just like working out is a healthy stress. However, after, it helps lower your heart rate up to 30 beats per minute for the next 24 hours and can put you into that parasympathetic nervous system, which means you're able to digest and rest and recover and have this like norepinephrine and dopamine high. So you have all this energy, but you're calm and collected. And that to me is true dynamic energy. So that's huge. Most of us need to learn how to come out of the sympathetic state and come into our parasympathetic state. The nervous system gets stuck I don't want to say easily, because I guess it's years of stress just getting us stuck. But a lot of us are stuck in that state. So the ice bath is a great way to train the body to kind of come in and out of the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So my favorite thing about the ice bath, though, and this is where I think it can be so life-changing for people, is the subconscious reprogramming to new, limitless, confident, courageous beliefs about yourself and the things that you can do. And it's a remembering that you are powerful and that you can do hard things. And yeah, it's huge. A lot of us are in our comfort zone most of the time, and we forget that we can do hard things. We forget how powerful we are. And the ice bath is a great way to get out of the comfort zone. And like you said, most people, like for you, are scared. They come here and they're like, I'm most scared about the ice bath. I don't know I can do it. Some people are like, I just believe they're not going to be able to do it. And then they do it, right? And that's huge to be able to have that shift of like, oh my gosh, a second ago I did not think I could do that, and then I just did it and it actually wasn't so bad. So what else is there out there that I have a limiting belief around? And yeah, it's amazing to see that. And that confidence that you gain really transfers into all parts of your life, not just getting in cold water, which it does help with your fear around that, but with confidence in your relationships and your business and really anything else. So it's huge. I had a friend come in one time and she was so scared of the ice bath. She had a panic attack in it. And she stayed in like a champ for the whole 3 minutes, hyperventilating, just losing it, right? And then she comes back a few months later and she's like, I'm going to conquer this ice bath. And she gets in and it doesn't even take her breath away. She doesn't even flinch. She gets in and she's just instantly in that peaceful, euphoric state. And that's just amazing to see, right? It's the same exact ice bath. All that's different is her mindset around it and her beliefs around the water. And I just think, like, if she was out in nature and fell into a frozen lake, right? Like you see in the movies, that's the difference of life or death right there, potentially, right? It's like that mindset shift. So yeah, I love the ice bath.
That's huge. I think
Yeah.
after doing it for the first time, my friend Helen and I were driving home and we were really stoked on ourselves. We were like, I mean, we just kept talking about it. Like we did it.
Yeah.
Because we had doubt too. And when you first get in, you can literally feel your brain saying, I got to get out of this. Like, this is not cool.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. And just like the not having your breath right away. But what's so great about doing it with you is that, I felt your hand on my back and you were kind of guiding me. And
Mm-hmm.
your energy was like, it was almost like looking at the flight attendants during turbulence because I'm like, this woman is very calm. So I need to just
Yeah.
relax and get a hold of
Right.
myself. And it is that feeling of accomplishment that
Mm-hmm.
it isn't every day that we are like to be uncomfortable. We're not comfortable with that. And getting uncomfortable is like, I feel like where I've had the most change in my life. And so
Yeah.
that was definite. I can see it's like just an ice bath, but it isn't. It's so much more.
Right.
So I definitely, and it's what drew me. Like I knew I wanted to go, but then like driving down, I was like, what have I done? And I just like the feeling afterwards of just knowing like I can, and especially after the first time, the second time was actually a lot easier for me too. And I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it wasn't fun at first, but I was able to, I don't like to not know what's coming sometimes in my life.
Right.
Like, but having that, like, oh, I've done this before, I can do it again. That's that
Exactly.
confidence, like, was there. So let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about the next thing that you
Okay.
have in the day. So from the ice bath, we went over to the sauna. Tell us a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about why that order, and also what are some
Yeah.
benefits of a sauna? Obviously, detoxification,
Yeah.
but what else?
Yeah. Yeah. All detox. Yeah. So I like to do the ice bath first. And so many people come in and they're just like, wait, I thought we were going to do the sauna first. Can I do the sauna first? And I'm like, okay, I've got an order. Trust me. And it's because when you arrive at the detox cottage, you're comfortable temperature wise, right? When you get out of a sauna, your body has just lowered its core temperature to offset the heat. So when you get out of a sauna or a shower or a jacuzzi, you instantly feel cold and you're wet all over, and you get out and you're just like already cold. And the last thing you want to do is get more cold, unless you've just been in so long you're totally overheated. But when you come, you're dry, you're comfortable. If the sun is shining, it's super nice. And it just feels a lot easier to do it in that state first. And also, I love to end on the heat, because after the heat is the treatments. And I love for the muscles to be warmed up and open from the heat. So I really do love that order. And then a lot of times when people get out of the ice bath, if they were in the sauna first and then they do the ice bath, they get out and they're like, well, I want to go back in the sauna, right? Which there is benefit. There's so much health benefit to just going back and forth, tons. And I agree with it. However, until recently, we had only infrared saunas, and infrared saunas take a long time to build a sweat, especially after an ice bath. Some people weren't sweating until 45 minutes into the sauna. So if you're going back and forth, you're going to be here all day, you're going to be here all day. So yeah, that's why I like to do the ice bath first. Although now we have the new sauna edition, which is the Finnish style sauna that gets super, super hot. And so now, I don't know, I might let people go back and forth a couple times, but I probably still am going to start with the ice bath. Yeah, because I just think going in at a comfortable temperature state is so much easier. And getting it out of the way first, because then you're just stoked for the whole day.
Yeah,
right? It just changes the mood. Yeah,
I feel like
good.
I agree with you. Like at first I was like, didn't want to do it first, but the second time I'm like, well, I got to get this over with and then enjoy. Then I can relax because sauna's
Then you
nice.
can relax.
Sauna feels
The hard
good.
part is over.
That's
and
right.
then the rest is easy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like that order better. So, and I love a sauna, and I feel like if someone wanted to do a sauna on a regular basis, how often would you recommend somebody do a sauna? Like how often, every day or like, yeah.
Well, every day can be depleting. Yeah, so there are some new studies out that are very profound showing that if you sauna 2 to 3 times per week, it reduces all-cause mortality by 24%. And if you sauna 4 to 7 times per week, it pretty much doubles and lowers all-cause mortality by 40%. So that's huge. That's really, really huge to, lower your risk of dying by 40% just by going in a sauna, right?
Wow.
And it does make a difference with how long you go. You want to do, I think the study was 19 minutes or more. If you do like 7 minutes, I forget the percentages exactly, but it just keeps increasing. And 19 minutes or more was really the magic number to stay in the sauna.
That's so amazing.
So that's huge,
That's
right?
huge.
4 to 7 times a week is the sweet spot. For me, 7 times a week is a lot, especially during the summer here, because I'm already sweating all day long. I'm working, I have my clients, and then going in the sauna, I have to drink so much water and replenish all those minerals. So it's just a little extra work. But hey, huge benefit to that, right?
I know what I'm asking for my birthday. So that sounds amazing. I would love that.
Of course, it feels so relaxing. So it promotes relaxation. It improves cardiovascular health. And you can actually burn up to 700 calories in a sauna session and get all the cardio benefits of a 6 to 9 mile run. So that's huge. Even you're sitting in there and you're getting all these heart benefits. And of course, you're detoxing the body, right? One of the ways to detox, one of the detoxification organs is the skin, is sweating. You have your kidneys, your bowels, your skin, and your lungs. Those are the organs that eliminate waste. The lymphatic system is just the sewer system, and then it kind of delivers the waste to these organs and then it releases. So sweating is huge. And most of us are in air conditioning and we're in our offices and we're not really sweating very much. And some people don't sweat at all. It's wild. And we are supposed to break a sweat every single day, right? Humans thrive in the tropics. That's kind of the environment I think we're supposed to be in. It's definitely not the Arctic or anything else. It's the tropics. And if you've ever been there before, you're kind of dewy, glowy, sweaty all day long, right? And so I think we're truly supposed to be kind of sweating so much, and most of us aren't. So sweating is huge. And I mean, you'll get the best night of sleep after a sauna. It helps with sleep so much. And it helps with just recovery and athletic performance and joint pain, muscle pain. It really helps my skin too when I'm going in the sauna or just sweating every day. It doesn't really matter how I sweat, but if I'm sweating every day, my skin gets really nice. So yeah, the sauna is just awesome. I love it.
The last time I had a sauna, I noticed how well I slept that night. And I
Yeah.
never had really thought about the sleep benefits. I love the sauna too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the next step in the day.
Okay.
This is like one of my favorites, and that's the Gua Sha treatment, the body treatment.
Yes.
So tell us what
The
that
body.
is.
Yeah. So the body treatment, we do a full body skin cleaning followed by Gua Sha. And if you want to add on cupping, you can. And we recently started doing lymphatic drainage massages, which some people come in and just get that kind of on its own. But I'll talk about the day that you did, which is kind of just like the original detox package. So we start with a full body skin cleaning treatment, which is a mixture made from 6 times distilled vodka with baking soda, diatomaceous earth, living silica, boron, MSM, sea salt water, over 90 different ionic and trace minerals, Irish sea moss, green tea, calendula, rose hips, manatomic gold, pearl powder, fulvic acid, aloe vera, and essential oils of eucalyptus, tea tree, lavender, peppermint, and rosemary. So all of these good things and vodka, which sounds so funny to put on the skin, but it's actually a really powerful cleanser and it's really gentle on the skin. And I use this mixture on a rag. I scrub the whole body down with it. And what this mixture is designed to do is clean the skin of parasites, fungus, yeast, mold, candida, bacteria, and of course, dead skin. And I call it poor gunk. And it's powerful. And the vodka, of course, is a really powerful cleanser. It helps kind of dissolve the dead skin and dirt really well, but it acts as a driver as well for all of the minerals and stuff, and the alcohol evaporates pretty much instantly, and all that's left are all those minerals and the silica and aloe and everything that also help balance the pH of the skin to help protect you from any of these harmful things coming back. And we're supposed to have a healthy microbiome on our skin. We're supposed to have healthy bacteria in us and outside of us, right? But because we're in this somewhat unnatural world, we have a bit of an unhealthy balance, I'd say, of our little friends that like to live with us. So yeah, this mixture, I've seen some of my clients who take some home with them and use it. I've seen moles start falling off, drying up and falling off, skin funguses like tinea versicolor going away, weird little unknown things start going away that their dermatologist couldn't figure it out, and they're like, I'm gonna put the skin cleaning and it goes away. And I just think it's just like the inside of your body, right? If you take out what is harmful and is not needed, and then you just add nourishment, then the body does its thing, right? You just need to give the body the tools to start to heal. So I love that treatment. And it opens up the pores too, which allows you to sweat better and detox better day to day. And so when I first started this whole journey, it took me like 15, 20 minutes to break a sweat in the sauna. And then using the skin cleaning, opening up the pores, going in the sauna more, I was able to get a river sweat going in just a couple minutes, which is huge. And yeah, it's just lovely. You feel so soft after. And then your favorite, which is the Gua Sha, which I love it too. For anyone who doesn't know what Gua Sha is, it leaves marks on the back similar to cupping, but they're in, not in circles. They're just kind of all over the back. So what Gua Sha is a traditional Chinese medicine that uses a round edge tool to, you could call it scrape or massage, really anywhere on the body. We focus on the back a lot, but can do anywhere. And what we're doing is we're bringing up stagnant blood from the subcutaneous tissues up and out, which is why you get that red marks. In Western medicine, they call them petechiae. In Chinese medicine, they call it Sha. So Gua is the tool, Sha is the marks. And really, they pronounce it here, we pronounce it Gua Sha, but in Chinese medicine, it's Gua Sha. But you kind of just have to say Gua Sha because no one will know you're talking about, But if you're speaking with someone who is like from China and you say Gua Sha, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So what we're doing, bringing up the stagnant blood, and stagnant blood, really anything stagnant in the body is toxic. And stagnant blood can cause pain, inflammation, and it can block the flow of circulation in the blood and the lymph and energy. So bringing it up and out allows the body to kind of digest it, get rid of it. And in this process, we're increasing circulation in the whole body by 400%. We are rebooting the immune system. We are releasing anti-inflammatory proteins. We are getting into the fascia, which is a huge one. It helps relieve pain and tension. And I think most people's pain and tension in the body is like from the fascia. And your fascia is this very conscious neural network that has more neurons than your brain. And I'm loving a lot of the new research coming out on the fascia because it's really profound. It's so much more than just tissue holding us together. And my favorite part about Gua Sha is it triggers a healing and regeneration process. So it's similar to if you have a bruise. The body is recognizing blood present in the skin and the tissue, and so it's triggering that same healing process. However, a little different because the whole body is actually signaling to start healing and regenerating. So muscles, bones, organs, nerves, tissues, everything in the body is getting a healing and regeneration just from working on the back or wherever we did that work. And I think part of that reason is because we are working with the fascia. And your meridian lines, which are the energy lines in the body, are actually run through the fascia. Some might say they're actually the same thing. And so this network, this conscious network is that we are working on is, I think, part of the reason why the whole body is signaled to start healing. So you're getting all of these benefits that you would from a massage, plus all of those other things. So it's just like, it's a one-stop shop. I love it. And it feels good to most people. Most people do love it. Some people find it to be a little ticklish in spots. Some people are like, it's a little uncomfortable, but I'm not offended. And some people are just like, this is a little too intense for me. But I find the people who think that it's too intense also don't really enjoy massages, even a regular massage, or is going through IVF, or on, if it's a woman, like on their cycle and having some sort of a hormone surge that makes your skin really sensitive. But most people really enjoy it, and some people even fall asleep. So if you see photos, it looks scary, but it's really nice.
I was just gonna say that because I showed pictures, and who saw pictures were like, oh my gosh, did that hurt? And I'm like, oh my, no, opposite. For me, it felt very relaxing, and my skin felt so smooth afterwards. After I, probably from the cleansing treatment, the softness of it, but like it didn't to me. It didn't hurt at all. And it does look a little gnarly though afterwards.
It does. It does. Yeah. I think it looks cool.
I know. Yeah. I like it. I'm like, nope, No pain was involved for me. So that was sort of the complete day, not to mention the facility, the plants and the trees, like that you haven't painted a picture of how insanely beautiful it is. And I'm reading a book right now about nature and the science behind what our brains do when we're in nature. And I feel like that was something that was such an added bonus to the day.
Yeah.
It's just being in all of that nature with all the greenery and the plants. It was so relaxing. And even like our call, I've heard birds in the background, which like those nature sounds, they do something in your brain that
Yeah,
it's like
me
science,
too.
and how that just adds to the experience. And I loved that part of it as well.
Oh, yeah, that was my intention in starting this is it had to be in nature in this oasis, you know. So finding a place to do that was a little difficult. And I knew there was no way I would just do it in a office building or something like that. Like that's just wasn't the vibe because nature alone is so healing. It had to be outside. You had to hear the sounds of the birds and the bees and get all that fresh oxygen. It's just and feel like you're on a retreat, you
Mm,
know, in Hawaii or the jungle. But you know, if you're local, you just came for the day. I wanted something that was also just more accessible for the people here in San Diego. We all want to go on that beautiful retreat to Hawaii for 2 weeks and live it up, but sometimes we've got things we have to do. So coming to the detox cottage for the day is like, okay, I'll get the same feeling and a lot of the same benefits, but not make that huge commitment, you know?
for sure. I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I'm driving distance to you because it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So I know we could talk probably for another few hours, but I don't want to keep you any
Yeah.
longer. I would love to talk about people who are interested in learning more, but maybe they don't live near you or close enough to come visit you. Tell us how we can get a hold of you and what other things that you offer for this healing process.
Yeah. So I post a lot on Instagram. My personal Instagram is DR Holistics. And of course, our Instagram is the Detox Cottage. So all the links are in the bio there. Our website is thedetoxcottage.com. And that's where you can also find access to my coaching and my online course. So if you're not in San Diego, but you want to work with me, we can do one-on-one sessions, or you can do my online course, which is kind of an intensive 5-6 week course on regenerative detoxification. And at the end, you will be specialized in detoxification, and you can use that for your own healing or begin to help people with their healing too.
I'll
Yeah.
make sure I include all of those links in the show notes. So please go check the Detox Cottage out. And Dara, thank you so much. This was so incredible.
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait to come back and see you in person. And thanks for coming
Yes,
on.
anytime. Of course. This was so fun. Thanks
It
for
was
having me,
amazing.
everybody.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe and review so we can reach more people who want to learn to glow alongside us. See you next time.